Arthritis is something that is afflicting many people today. It's inflammation of the joints. There is rheumatoid arthritis, and it's probably a little bit more serious. And there's also osteoarthritis and arthritis. Also, a similar condition, which probably afflicts men mostly, is gout. So what I'd like to look at in this presentation is what's the cause of arthritis. So remember Newton's third law of motion, that to every action there is an equal and an opposite reaction. In other words, there is always a cause. And many are sick today through ignorance. That's why I like to go by Ellen White's, in her little book, Ministry of Healing, one of my first books. Page 127, she says, the only hope of better things is the education of people in the right principles. Many are sick through ignorance, and so what I'd like to do is I'd like to show you what some of the causes are and how you can get a turnaround in arthritis, whether it be osteo, rheumatoid arthritis, and also gout. And that's the good news. There can be a turnaround, and we've seen many conquer these things. Arthritis thrives in a very acid environment. So an acid environment in the body is one of the #1 causes of arthritis. Now, you can go back to look. Old injuries is often where arthritis can manifest itself, and there can be different factors there. There can be an inherited factor. There can be a factor of injury to that area, which makes it a little bit more susceptible. There can be an acid environment. Often a breaking of these laws, as Ellen White says, that disease is an effort of nature to free the system from conditions that arise because of a violation of the laws of health. And many people don't realise that. So I'd like to go through how a breaking of these laws could be a big contributing factor in arthritis we're seeing today. And I'd like to show you how restoring adherence to these laws can bring about a conquering of arthritis. But for the arthritic person, there are a few vegetables that can have an acid effect, and that's bell pepper. So when someone's wanting to conquer arthritis, the bell pepper must stop. Tomato. Tomato can also have an acid effect on someone who's suffering from gout or arthritis. Eggplant, sometimes called aubergine, and also the potato. And I'm referring here to the English potato. The Fijians call it the white man's potato. I'm not referring to the sweet potato. The sweet potato is not a potato, it is a yam. So these can have an acid effect on the arthritic person. If a person doesn't have arthritis, they often can eat this class of vegetables. But if you're wanting to conquer your arthritis, your gout, these things have to stop. Not forever, it's just till you've conquered it.
Arthritis. Just the word itself is enough to make millions of people wince. The stiffness, the pain, the inflammation, it's a condition that can silently creep into your life and slowly take control of your mobility, comfort, and quality of life. But what if we told you that arthritis might not be just about age or genetics? What if your daily meals were silently turning your body into a breeding ground for this painful condition? Barbara O'Neill, renowned natural health educator and wellness expert, delivers a wake-up call. In her groundbreaking teachings, she reveals a powerful and often overlooked truth. Arthritis is not just a disease of the joints, it's a disease of the body's environment. More specifically, Barbara O'Neill claims that arthritis thrives in an acidic environment within the body, and what we eat has everything to do with that. Barbara O'Neill warns that arthritis is deeply connected to the pH level inside the human body. Our bodies function best in a slightly alkaline state. This means that the pH of our blood and tissues should be just above neutral. However, when we consume certain foods, especially over long periods of time, we can shift this balance. Instead of being slightly alkaline, the body turns acidic. And that's when problems start. When the body becomes too acidic, doesn't just irritate the stomach or weaken the bones. According to Barbara O'Neill, it creates the perfect breeding ground for inflammation. And inflammation is at the heart of arthritis. When the body becomes too acidic, it responds with swelling, pain, and degeneration of joint tissue. This is where arthritis begins to take hold. Barbara O'Neill highlights foods like bell peppers, tomatoes, eggplant, and potatoes are among the worst offenders when it comes to arthritis-triggering foods. These vegetables are all members of the nightshade family, a group known for containing certain alkaloids that can affect nerve muscle function and promote inflammation. But even more than that, Barbara O'Neill stresses that they acidify the body. When consumed regularly or in large quantities, they contribute to the acidic environment that arthritis thrives in.
The most acid food that can go into the body is the pure crystallized acid that's extracted from the sugarcane plant. It is incredibly acid. It's a pure acid. Also, meat. Dr. Colin Campbell, in his book China Study, he shows how he could turn cancer cells on and off by the amount of meat and dairy products that he was giving them, because cancer loves an acid environment. These acid foods are high in the acid-forming minerals, which is chlorine and phosphorus and sulfur. When meat breaks down in the body, it gives off a high sulfur waste. So it's particularly acid-forming is the meat. Also, the hybridized wheat of today. Wheat was hybridized in the 50s. It went through intensive crossbreeding. It was rushed through. No safety studies were done. They didn't think they had to do safety studies on just wheat. But the effect of it is being seen today. So many people are gluten intolerant, and one of the reasons is the hybridization of the wheat created an incredibly complex protein or gluten structure, so it's very difficult for the gut to break down. And it is higher in the acid-forming minerals, and when that wheat is grown with superphosphate, chlorinated water, so all of these conditions bring it together to make it more acid forming. And most wheat today is grown with glyphosate or Roundup, so there's more acid forming because all your chemicals have an acid effect. So your aged cheese is very acid forming. So the only cheese that doesn't have an acid effect would be things like your goat feta or sheep feta. That they are basically on a neutral. Caffeine has a very acid effect on the body. Alcohol, not a food, but it certainly creates an acid environment. Tobacco, not a food, but it also creates a very acid environment. All your other grains, other than the millet, quinoa, buckwheat spelt kamut, and also all your other legumes, other than lima, lentil and soy, and all your other nuts, other than your Brazil and almonds, have an acid effect. To maintain a 6-point environment at the cellular level, we need to be taking probably 20 to 30% acid-forming foods.
For individuals already suffering from arthritis, Barbara O'Neill gives a clear recommendation. These foods must be avoided. The risk is simply too great. Their contribution to body acidity, along with their potential to trigger inflammatory responses, makes them unsuitable for anyone looking to manage or reverse arthritis symptoms. She emphasizes that eliminating these foods can have a dramatic impact on joint pain, stiffness, and swelling. However, not everyone has arthritis yet. And here's where Barbara O'Neill offers a balanced perspective. For those who do not currently suffer from joint pain, she does not insist on total avoidance. Instead, she advises moderation. If you found this information valuable, hit the like button, share this video with friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe for more life-saving health tips.